Big win. An awesome game by the Hurricanes. Show them who's boss. And once again, they beaten the Bulls. And this time with the score 49-12. The offense was excellent. And the defense was also very good. Before I go any further, I just want to say, if you hear the background noise, well, besides the fan, I'm also watching, peeking in on another football game. This one caught my interest. I just want a little quick point out. Peeking in on the FIU and FAU game really quick. There might be a big upset here as I'm taking a peek between the Panthers and the Owls. Well, I'm talking about the game between the Hurricanes and the Bulls. USF Bulls, based from Tampa, Florida. I know their names is University of South Florida. Oh, that was picked off. Wow. Yeah, this game's over. Anyway, what I heard is the reason why they're called University of South Florida was because in 1957, I think the year was, they were the most southernest university at that time. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. That's what I heard. That's what I saw on social media. It might be inaccurate, but I just wanted to tell you where I saw the source from, which I'm not sure if it's an accurate source, but I don't know. I have no idea. But either way, the name itself is a bit inaccurate. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, Miami versus USF, no problem. Not too much problems. Both teams, yes, committed turnovers. I thought Carson Beck was excellent. Everybody remember Byron Brown? I remember Byron Brown. He was awesome against the Canes last season. But then I believe, as far as I remember, he got hurt and he would not come back. And the Hurricanes took advantage in full force. This time, Byron Brown did play the full game. Well, at least to the last possession where the backup came in because the game was just out of reach. The Hurricanes were scoring. And at that time, the Hurricanes defense was holding the Bulls down to a couple of field goals in each quarter. And they were giving up big plays, okay? Byron Brown was throwing the football very good, okay? They were throwing the football very good, which ultimately leads to a field goal, okay? So let's go things through. I don't want to take too much time in this because this is a blowout. This is a blowout game. But let's get this show on the road. The first drive for the Hurricanes resulted in a touchdown, all the way from the 25 to scoring. There was some good plays. I think C.J. Daniels is an excellent receiver, and also Malachi Tony. They are wide open, and when they catch the football, they can run, which is awesome. I wish the Dolphins had that kind of situation. But anyway, ultimately it leads up to a touchdown pass to Joshua Moore. Was going into the end zone for a touchdown to make it 7-0 Canes. Off to a good start. The Hurricanes defense did their job, forcing the Bulls to punt. The next drive, which is another long drive for the Hurricanes, also leads to a touchdown. Keelan Marion was pretty good. How about Mark Fletcher? Mark Fletcher was awesome in this possession. Running the football to 17 yards, Marion with 13 yards, and in the 39-yard touchdown pass to Joshua Moore, another touchdown score for Moore. This was the 39 yards. It was a deep ball, which was ultimately an amazing catch and score. What a catch by Joshua Moore to get the touchdown going. Beautiful play and beautiful catch that gets into the end zone. Touchdown Canes, man. Then there's our first score given up by the Canes defense. This pass from Byron Brown, pass complete to Josh Nimrod. If I said it correctly, I don't know. This was a 43-yard pass and a big one. Too big to give up for the Canes. But Fortunately, it only resulted in a field goal. It was a 45-yarder for Gramatica. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I get that wrong. Heard a good story about that family. That family runs through USF. And I think one of them played for the Buccaneers, I think. The dad, the grandfather, I think it's more of a father, and the brothers, stuff like that. Basically, that family goes to that school. That's pretty cool. 3-0 for the Hurricanes, which is, I don't like that at all. But then the drive for USF, let's see, the clock was, I want to say, let's go ahead and say about 5:15, right? I want to say around 5:15-ish or something like that. I forgot the exact time. Mother Nature decided to put their own hurricane, no pun intended, nearby the stadium, or actually, it's really not just a stadium. The entire southern region of Florida, well, South Florida, experiencing some weather problems. I think I know a thing or two about that. It kind of sucked, but weather became a problem, and they detected lightning in an 8-mile radius. By rule, you have to put the game on hold. Okay, you see a lightning, you have to put the game on hold. Even if it's too far away. The problem is with Florida's weather. We're technically, okay, I understand it's September, but it's not September 21st or 23rd or 22nd. Technically speaking, we're still in the month of summer. And we're in peak hurricane season. We're at the peak of hurricane season, and that's where the temperatures of the waters go hotter, okay? Much warmer than it would typically be. That's the problem with Florida's weather. And it gets muggy, it gets humid, and the rain will keep happening. And I know this because I know a thing or two about this. I experience this every year. And a lot of folks in these different cities can relate to this, especially in the summertime. See, in the summertime, the water gets warmer in the Gulf and the Atlantic, hence more storms. And the fact that it's tropical, it's a problem. And especially if it's an outdoor game. This game was delayed all the way till, I want to say 7:07 or 7:10 p.m. So it is roughly about an hour and 42 minutes. I want to say an hour and 42 minutes. The delay was that long. And it was pouring, it was raining, and things like that. The FIU game, I heard, as I took a peek in, and Steve Goldstein, the play-by-play announcer for the Florida Panthers. I think I heard him say the FIU game was delayed for about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I don't know if it's accurate or not, only because I have not watched this game. I was watching this game, but I think that's what I heard. But anyway, an hour and 40 minutes later, the game is resumed. And this drive for USF leads to a field goal, including another big pass from Byron Brown to Chaz Nimrod to 53 yards. If I said his name wrong, I do apologize. But 53 yards ultimately leads to a field goal for Gramatica. So it's now 3-14. Or 6-14, I should say. 6-14 Canes. Got to do something very quickly. Kickoff and 17-yard pass to Caleb Marion for 17 yards. Off to a good start. The next pass, another long pass. This time it's to Mark Fletcher for 20 yards. And then Mark Fletcher got through, and he's done. He is going in for the touchdown. And now, only took 3 plays. It only took 3 plays, and the Hurricanes responded immediately. Immediately responded with a touchdown, and it only took them 3 plays. Awesome offense by Mark Fletcher. He was awesome today. Couple of 3 and outs later, let's skip ahead to USF possession. So, Byron Brown only rushed himself for 2 yards. 2nd and 8, which was an incomplete pass. 3rd and 8. For the first time this season, they're talking about how well of an accuracy Byron Brown is with throwing the football and protecting the football. Not this time. Finally, we're the first team to pick off Byron Brown. It's Bryce Fitzgerald coming in leaping to get that football, and he picks off Byron Brown in an amazing interception by Fitzgerald, and that's his second one of the season. His first one, I believe, came against Notre Dame. Excuse me, my eyes itchy. The first one came against Notre Dame, and it's a big interception too, because that is at the USF 21, and we have a really good opportunity to score this touchdown to add on to the lead, and they did. They were able to do that in 6 plays. Basically run the football. A couple of, I think 1 or 2 instances, was one of them resulted in an incomplete pass, but the second pass was leading to Malachi Tony for 5 yards, and Fletcher did the rest. And then he ran for another, Carson Beck runs for 11 yards. He almost made a touchdown. However, the next play, Carson Beck faked the entire defensive front of the Bulls. He was going to give it to, I think it was Fletcher, if I'm not mistaken. And then he ran it to the right, and there's a beautiful fake by Carson Beck. The camera was focused on the running back. Beautiful fake, and I'm just like blown away from this, because how do you get faked this hard like that? Truly amazing, the situation there. But that scores a touchdown for the Canes. It's now 28-6, which is incredible. Couple of possessions later, unfortunately, Carson Beck passing it to C.J. Daniels for 27 yards, which is an awesome play by C.J. Daniels. And there was a pass interference. Against Jarvis Lee, but that penalty was declined for obvious reasons. Bad news is, the next play, you underthrew it, and Carson Beck gets picked off by Jarvis Lee. He ran it back for 27 yards, and that's Carson Beck's first interception of the season. That's a huge bummer. We forced them to 3 and out, 3 incomplete passes in a row for the Bulls. And halftime. We're going to skip ahead. Right now. Carson Beck tries to redeem himself. It was a nice play for C.J. Daniels for 10 yards. And then another interception. This time is James Chanot, if I'm not mistaken. He picks off Carson Beck, which is not good at all. However, the next possession, well, it looked like a bad situation for the Canes, right? Because Byron Brown passes for Chance Nimrod for 15 yards. A couple of plays later, Brown fumbles the football. And it was recovered by Chase Smith for the Hurricanes, which is awesome. Bad news is you didn't do anything in the next possession, and you're forced a 3 and out. 10 plays for the USF Bulls. Byron Brown to Keyshawn Singleton. There was a face mask penalty for the Hurricanes, which is bad news, because that gives the advantage for USF. And then the next play, passes to Wyatt Sullivan for 30 yards. Insanity for our defense to give up big plays like that. However, while running the football, USF, the defense did their job, and they were able to stop Byron Brown at the Miami 8. Big play by the Hurricanes. And with the the next possession for the Hurricanes would result in a touchdown. I'm talking huge passes. Carson Beck to Malachi Tony for 24 yards. The next play is even better. The next play was 36 yards to Keelan Marion for 36 yards. 4 yards pass to Malachi Tony. Mark Fletcher for 13 yards, and another 13 yards for Mark Fletcher. He got through for the touchdown, as it is at this point now 6:35. USF would eventually get the touchdown, though. It's a next possession. A 22-yard pass to Sam Franklin. There was a personal foul for Armando Blount, which would result more of a first down situation. And then the next play was a 26 yards to Keyshawn Singleton. That's bad news altogether. And then they've been running the football, and Byron Brown passed it to Christian Neptune for 12 yards. To make a 12 to make this a 12-35 game, which is bad. Which is, I guess that was coming right there. Oh, there you go. The Panthers won. FIU Panthers have won the Shola Bowl, beating the FAU Owls. Wow. The Panthers fans are very excited about this, and I don't blame them. All right, back to this game between the Hurricanes and the USF Bulls. The Canes would respond in a huge way. A couple of 5-yard rush for Mark Fletcher, a couple of pass yards for Keelan Marion. 3rd and 3, a 51-yard pass to Tony Johnson. 51 yards, that goes all the way to USF 17. Monster play by Tony Johnson, and ultimately results in the scoring. For Shamar Brown. There was a penalty against. I think was it a penalty? Yeah, there was a penalty against USF for delayed game. There was a fumble, but at the end of it all, there was no penalty. There was no play because of a delayed game penalty against USF. It was a stupid situation. But Shamar Brown with the touchdown pass from Carson Beck, which is awesome. It is now 12-42 game. The game is seemingly out of reach. And then the next possession for USF, they could not get anything going. Byron Brown tried everything again. Nimrod was their best receiver of the night. He got another one for 17 yards. We sacked Byron Brown. Jonathan Echols for 13 yards. It's still a 4th and 7 situation, and they could not get a first down. We forced a turnover on downs, and then the Hurricanes' last possession, which is Emory Williams' possession now. Carson Beck is benched because it is a blowout, and we love it. It is a blowout win for the Miami Hurricanes, but they want another touchdown. It starts off with a penalty on Miami for offensive hold, okay? But then the next play, they roughed up Emory Williams. It's Cedric Hawkins with a roughing the passer call, and that restarts the first down. Then there's a 17-yard pass to Luca Gilbert. And then a few plays later, a touchdown run for Gerard Pringle Jr., rushing for 5 yards. And that is another Hurricanes touchdown. And that's your final score. The final score is 49 Hurricanes, South Florida Bulls 12. This is more of a blowout than the last season, which was in Tampa, but beating the crap out of them here in Miami Gardens was truly remarkable. And I like to say, I want to say I expected this, but I kind of have to say I expected this. However, what I did say is that you don't want to stop the gas. What I mean by that is you don't want to take your foot off the pedal, because This is the same team that beat the Florida Gators at the Swamp, by the way. Clearly, there's an issue going on in Gainesville. And speaking of Gainesville, we got the Florida Gators next. Oh man, I really wish I was there for that one. I really do, because this would have been an epic vlog for me personally. But I can't do that. I'm so mad I can't do that. That's why I need your help. I need the audience help. But anyway, the Hurricanes beat the Bulls 49-12. At all the trash talking from last year all the way to this year, where are they now? Seriously, where are they now? But anyway, GG. Carson Beck was excellent. Byron Brown was also pretty good. The problem is the defense was better for the Hurricanes. That's all I could say. And next game, the Gators. This time it'll be at Hard Rock Stadium, and we have just found out that it is going to be 7:30 game on ABC. Miami doesn't let USF play spoiler. I don't know where Miami's going to be ranked. I'm hoping we'll be ranked a little higher, because we have beaten yet another ranked team, number 18 team. They were talking about a potential, if the Bulls beat the Hurricanes, they should be at number 1. Can we be number 1 because we beat the Bulls? Come on, you have to apply that map. You have to apply that logic. Come on. Apply that logic for the Hurricanes, because it's true. Now, while we do have the Florida Gators next, the Florida Gators coming off 1-2 to start the year. The only time they won was against Long Island, the Sharks. That is I believe an NEC school. But since then they have fallen behind against the Bulls, an upset win in Gainesville, and losing to LSU. But they have an even tougher task against the U. Miami better keep that foot on the pedal and beat the Florida Gators back. Beat them back to the Swamp. Big game coming up. And then we have an even bigger game. This is Florida State's game. What could have been a easy game, or like a situation where it could be a potential clinic. Florida State is number 10 in the nation. They are good again. So we cannot take them lightly. All right, man. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. I'm probably gonna do a preview with the Florida Gators again, because I think it's still an important match that we should talk about. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. I do want to talk about Inter Miami, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow because three reasons. One, I do have work in the morning, which is kind of ironic for me to say, because I do tend myself to do recaps even on the work nights where the teams are in the West Coast, and I do the recap anyway on the work night. So I'm kind of contradicting myself, but it is kind of okay. Number 2, I do want to get some sleep, and number 3, and this is me being more honest than the other two, I don't want to talk about them. Frankly, I do not want to talk about that team tonight, because they are such an embarrassment, so pathetic, and I don't want to talk about them tonight. I just don't. But regarding this game, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's go Canes. Another 3-0 start to start the season, for the third straight season. Let's hope we keep going, and let's go Canes. So that's going to do it for this one. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content, because Miami TV has it back. And when he does, he'll be right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. This is Mirror TV signing off, folks. Mirror TV. Miami TVG. Mirror TV is my gaming channel. You can go check that out. This is Miami TVG signing off, folks. Good night, everybody.